Call to order the Town of Waterboro Planning Board meeting for January 8th, 2025. Angela, can we start with roll call?
Rick Madruga.
Here.
James Farias.
Here.
Rebecca Higgins.
Here.
Stacy Walker.
Here.
Diane Gray is absent this weekend.
Next on the agenda is public hearing. Weekend, she's already there.
I am there.
Next is public hearing, which we do not have. Next is old business, which we also do not have. So next is new business, which is Buff Brook subdivision dissolution, tax map 57, Eben.
Scallows.
Thank you.
That's my supervisor.
Director of Land Management for the Nature Conservancy. All right, so Evan, if you want to come up here. Evan, if you want to come up here.
Okay, just to correct you.
Yes.
So Evan Skalinski is my supervisor, and my name is.
Oh, okay.
Yep. My name is John Bailey. I'm the regional land manager for Southern Maine. I live up in Cornish, and I manage many sites in this area, but Waterboro Pine Barrens is our largest that I manage. Do you want me to kind of just go through the overview, the kind of history?
That would be
Keep it
awesome.
Brief, but
Yeah.
general. Okay. Well, just more about what I kind of do out there as well. I'm the land manager, so I'm in charge of like the prescribed fire that we do. Waterboro Pine Barrens is a unique landscape, and it's globally rare system. So the pitch pine, scrub oak barrens, there's all these threatened and endangered species that are found there that you're probably aware of. And it straddles into Shapley and then into the Vernon Walker Wildlife Management Area to the west. It's the most northern extent of this habitat, so that is why back in the 90s the Nature Conservancy and partners with the state decided to protect this area. Prior to that ownership, Buff Brook Estates was established. The history of that failed, except for a couple houses along Buff Brook Road. At this point, the Nature Conservancy going through this is something that other staff and colleagues have been going through, is to basically dissolve those additional subdivision lots in there. As a reason for doing that, we would like to put everything right now is in open space currently except for one of those lots.
Okay.
And once those lines potentially would be dissolved, we would like to put that one lot back into continuous open space. Same public use access for like hunting, fishing, recreation within the same standards that we have set forth out there. So that's basically, we're hoping that in doing this for our staff and for the town, that it would minimize the administrative need of processing all these lots that will never get developed. We're never going to develop them. It's all protected as one landscape. So it's kind of pointless.
Right.
But legally we have to go through this process. So I don't know if that was, any other information?
Yeah, that makes sense. It supports what was in the, the letter to Matt. So the whole parcel, when you say the lot, so in other words, this would, right now it's subdivided, but you're gonna put it in one piece and that all of that would go into open space, is that what you're saying?
Correct, except for the private ownership lots.
Okay.
Which I think is like 7 houses right in here.
Okay.
Yeah, they fall from lot 38 to 31.
They're the ones highlighted in yellow on the memo. Those are the ones not owned by the Nature Conservancy.
I don't think I got it.
See that one here?
I think.
That's the Kayla's memo.
Angela had an addition to her family, and she was active on Main Tuesday Street. So you could send the memo to somebody else other than just Angela?
Well, normally, I get responses from one person.
Well, if you put 2 people on that email.
Yes, I'll do that next time. I had one printed copy, just to know.
So these right here, these ones in the front,
I'd be more than happy to respond.
these ones are highlighted.
I know, I'm just teasing.
Okay.
So removing them from all those lots to be one lot. Got it.
That would simplify things for sure.
Definitely.
So these are the ones that are already owned
Yeah.
privately, yeah.
So everything else will be
Yep.
one big lot.
Works for me.
Yeah, I don't, does anybody have any questions at this point? Mike, Michaela?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it's more about terminology than kind of end goal, but since there are other owners in the subdivision and some properties, we couldn't abandon the subdivision.
Sure.
Rather, the applicant could combine their lots, and so it would still be within the subdivision, but the lots could be merged. So that way they're still dealing with fewer administrative things because they're not dealing with, 45 different lots. They can manage that in fewer lots. I would also recommend perhaps dividing them into, say, 4 or 5. So that way it doesn't create weird islands with the lots that are dividing. The lots owned by the Nature Conservancy with the lots owned by others, like, maybe when we pass out the memo, you'll see like 56 and 57, and 59, I believe, are owned by other folks, and
Oh, so these,
there we go.
It's a strange call. Angela was emailing this, a copy of this to the AV group, so we
Oh,
can
okay.
put it up on the big
Okay.
screen.
Oh, gotcha.
And we'll have and I
Um,
think it'd be treated more as like an amendment,
you.
subdivision revision, opposed to,
You're talking about these ones.
Yeah.
we'd be doing a subdivision
Subdivision
revision.
revision.
opposed to
Oh,
abandonment.
okay, versus an
For the
abandonment.
abandonment.
Well, and additionally, usually, you might correct me in terms of Waterboro's history with this, but usually if it's just lot combination, the applicant can work with the assessor to do that, and there doesn't need to be a subdivision amendment
There would be,
process.
so we would need to file an amendment with the registry? That's, I guess that's a good, if legally, I guess that's a good question for.
So right now,
for
these
probably
are
the town attorney.
subdivided
Yeah.
lots.
Yes. It would be a town attorney question to make sure, and I
So-
would recommend the applicant talk to their land use
So-
attorney as well.
John and his team could submit, they want to update the subdivision and combine just a smaller number of lots?
Yes.
What does that do administratively to you? Because I think your purpose was to alleviate all the subdivisions to help with the burdensome administrative work.
Correct. Obviously, the end-all solution for us would be to dissolve all those lots. Upon our review as well, we found that there are those common lots that are deeded to the 7 homeowners on Buff Brook Road. None of those lots, none of the subdivision other than those homes that are privately owned and the exterior boundary of the subdivision have ever been pinned or surveyed. So they're all paper lots. In discussing this earlier today with other staff members, the intent of the Nature Conservancy is for these lots and this whole landscape to forever be open for the public. So it falls directly in line with what we allow for the public anyways. We realize and respect that those landowners have the rights to go to these lots, but they also have the right to go to any of those lots.
Right.
And our hope would be not to, they were never pinned, so it's not really a high priority for us to
Sure.
pin when they can go anywhere
Yeah.
out there. My hope would be to just do it all.
So those lots, so this subdivision obviously
Yep.
isn't in open space today, correct?
It's all in open space
Oh, it
except
isn't.
for one lot.
Okay, so
It
it's
is.
already in open space?
Correct.
Okay, so there's not a concern with homeowners that are there and all of a sudden we're opening up access to land, it's already open?
Correct.
Correct, okay.
And everything that's circled in yellow is yours,
Not theirs.
not
Not
theirs.
Not theirs.
Okay.
Privately.
Well, to clarify, our understanding is these lots that are grouped are private and there's homes in them except for 2 lots on the north end. These lots are our ownership, but those homeowners have rights to go to them.
Gotcha.
They were supposed to be parks.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
the subdivision.
Yeah, all
What are the lot numbers?
They weren't in the lot numbers listed on the
57,
letter.
56?
57 and above. The letter listed to 56, so I circled the ones.
In requesting them to be consolidated.
Yeah.
No, just when I was looking at the lots that the Nature Conservancy owned versus the others you had listed, I believe it was 1 to 28,
Yep.
or 1 to 27, and then 39 to 56. So the
Yeah.
ones circled are the in between 28 to 38, I believe, and then 57, 58, 59, 60, and 61. So those are the ones in yellow up there.
Gotcha.
So are you saying the 58, 59, 60, and 61 are?
As far as my understanding is there are ownership, but those homeowners, anybody in that development, which are
Has access
those,
to those.
have access to them as public space, and that we had ownership of them.
Okay.
I could be wrong with that.
So what would be the difference between them being an open space and them having deeded rights to it? Is there any concern in the difference? There isn't, right? I mean, it's the
No.
same access that they would have, correct?
It's the same access,
Same
because we would
access
have to
that
leave
we
the.
But you own it.
Right, and we have had a homeowner, I know all of them on that road.
Yeah.
I've had them been like, oh, we wanna take our ATV to that lot, and technically by law, I have to let them do it.
You do, yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
and so we just work around that.
yeah.
No one's been a jerk, and they have a legal right to get to them, so.
Yeah. Can't you permit motorized use in open space?
We can.
You can, but you chose not to.
We work with veterans, hunters
gotcha.
that need access. There's been a lot of destruction through the years,
Yeah.
so we've tried to maintain that. Right now, they can go on the private roads to cut across through.
Yep.
I wish people would stay on the roads.
Sure,
Because
yeah.
it wouldn't be a problem.
Right,
It's the
right.
chainsawing around gates
Yep,
and things like that.
yep.
But we do work with a select group of folks that request access.
The tax records don't show 57 and above as Nature Conservancy ownership.
Do you have who it's listed under ownership?
Sure, we have a list here, three of
Uh,
them. What about maintaining how about the conservancy or yourself procuring some affidavits from people that currently reside in that subdivision, stating that they are still allowed to utilize the parcels that may have been deeded to them. Like just, for example, let's say the four that are kind of outside of the large parcel are in fact owned by the conservancy, and they're very much what you had conceded to before. Maybe an affidavit from the people that live in that have legal right to those lots.
Yep. I think that's a possibility. I would say, like in reviewing one of those homeowners' lots this morning, it's right in their deed that they have access to those outside lots for park, recreational, common area.
Right, but maybe have these people, if they have deeded access to these lots anyway.
Yep.
Create some sort of generic affidavit that everybody in that subdivision is saying that they did not relinquish their right to utilize such and such a lot.
Yeah.
However, for ease of consolidation or however it needs to
Administration,
be
yeah.
worded.
I hear you and I like your idea. I'm just a little worried there's so many people involved with coming to it.
And we're a little worried about getting rid of it and abolishing the subdivision that could
Yep.
potentially have legal ramifications down the
Well,
road.
since there are different access for those four outer lots compared to the others, I don't think they should be a part of any lot combination either. But I stand pretty firm in that the subdivision can't be abandoned when it already exists on the ground. It's just that your lots can be combined into one lot, which means you have to manage taxes for one lot instead of 45.
Correct.
So, but I want to get away from using the word abandoned
Abandoned,
subdivision
yeah, gotcha.
because it's
Yeah.
Yep.
not,
Yeah.
it's not that.
Right.
Change.
So I'm feeling as though that those removing lot lines, but keeping the homes along Buff Brook and those 3 or 4 outside, and everything else the lines get dissolved,
Combined, yeah.
combined.
It's simplified.
That makes sense.
Can you point that out for me? Just so,
Does this work?
So those homes sorry. Those
At least
homes,
it's on yellow, right?
The ones in
Yeah.
yellow, yeah,
that one.
those will stay separate,
They stay separate.
and then
But all
yours
the
will
lots
be
in
one
between
in the middle.
become one.
Yeah, no.
Yep, I just wanna make sure we're on the same page, I was like, wait.
Another question I have is, Mike clarified that the line in the middle there is an ATV trail rather than a road, but
Paper street.
or a paper street, but I wonder if
Oh, that's.
it
not
would be
right.
useful to keep the lots on either side of that, so it's two.
Correct.
So that way the right-of-way of that paper street for those lots
Oh, is there.
is there.
Oh, so in other words, keep two
Remains.
separate parcels of land?
So
Yes.
that right
So
of way will
those-
remain.
Because otherwise
Then
we
it
would
was
be
not-
creating island lots that have no access, no potential access,
Right.
which I wouldn't recommend.
I don't know if it matters off your statement. The trails and roads don't lay as it is depicted on the plan, nor are there any pins out there. The only road that is, well, Lake Sherburne, Roundabout Road, and Buckbrook Road, those lay pretty much as depicted,
So that,
but this other one doesn't.
so it's overgrown and gone?
I don't think it ever
I
got
mean, it probably
created.
didn't exist, this
Oh,
was just a
okay.
It
plan
never
for
got,
subdivision.
Oh, I
yeah,
got it.
there's one that
Got it.
meanders, but it goes a lot closer to the brook and up and around.
Yeah.
It's not that.
So was that required like in the initial subdivision that?
The road is,
Yes.
yeah.
Not to get off track here, but nothing from that side of Route 11 on Lake Sherburne is as
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's a pretty broad brushstroke when you use that. So I mean, I really feel as though we should need to leave that, whether it's in its exact location or not, we need to leave that right of way intact.
Because we can't create the island lots, and we also, if we take the paper road off, that will institute a subdivision amendment process, so it actually make this more cumbersome for you. But if we respect the road there, according to the plan, and then you can combine on either side, that should fix that problem, and still brings it from 45 to 2.
So, just from my understanding, you're saying leave the road in there, and then you have a lot on the left side and a lot on the right side?
Yeah.
So we're just minimizing the lots as much as you can, but
Yeah.
leaving the roads?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should. Even if the road's overgrown, at least it's on the plan.
Yep. I think whatever we can minimize and get to kind of the end result
Right.
today is better, and then we can figure out the legalities of those common lots, and if we're able to get rid of those in the future, working with the landowners that have legal interest to them, then that would be a separate round. But I think dissolving is the property boundary as much as we can, I think it would be great to consider.
I would think that probably we should need to check into a couple of things before
Yep.
the board, I would
Sure.
advise them to move forward. One would be to have these folks perhaps meet with the assessor and find out what they can do to combine these lots.
Sure.
And then, of course, a brief email sent to the town attorney, just verifying the legality of what we're trying to accomplish here.
Get the terms right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So that we're not creating a mess for somebody else later down the road.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's fair.
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll wait for that and then figure out next steps. I suppose, based on what you find from the assessor, it may even eliminate it from being on our agenda, correct? Is that what you're saying?
In
Maybe?
a sense, it
Yeah.
depends,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
between the two,
Yeah,
between the two,
sure,
yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Have the least resistance, right, to get the results that you want, so, yeah.
And this is my card too, if you have questions.
Thank you. I've got, thank you all for the consideration
Yeah.
of processing through this.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
presentation, appreciate it.
No problem.
Here you go.
Oh, thank you.
Would you like me to stay further, or am I?
You don't need to, no.
Okay.
Not unless you wanna.
I'll head out.
Listen to us.
All right. Thank you all, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Our assessor is in the office on Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.
So, next on the agenda, minutes from previous meetings. First one, August 21st, no minutes.
Move them.
September 4th, did everybody read them? Any questions, concerns, changes?
You got Vicky's last name?
That's correct.
Okay, that was my only question.
And if you're doing typos, there's a couple periods in the bullets under 200 Main Street at the end. Other than that,
Next one's October 16th. Same, any questions, concerns?
no September 18th, October.
Oh, sorry, put them in wrong order. September 18th, there was no meeting. All right.
Kind of how I run my days. Monday,
October
Friday.
16th. Any questions, concerns, October 16th?
Nope.
Oh, wait, oh, we'll just vote to approve all of them. That's fine. November 6th, I did have an edit to this one at the, where was it? Oh, it's at the end. Under the adjournment, you have Stacy Walker made a motion to adjourn, seconded by Rick Diane.
Oh.
So, I think if we just edit whoever it was, then that was the only change I made for that one. Sarah,
You tricked me on that one because the agenda said November 4th. I'm like, didn't we meet on November? And it was November 6th.
All right, so I think outside of the two edits that we've discussed, can I get a motion to approve the minutes of previous meetings for August 21st, September 4th, September 18th, October 16th, and November 6th? 6th, yeah, November 6th.
I make the motion to approve all those listed dated minutes that you just listed.
And I second that.
All those in favor? All right. Next is communications.
At the bottom of the agenda, I put January 22nd, which would have gone 8 and 22. There's a finance committee meeting in here that night. So in theory, our next meeting would be next week, but we won't have all of our ducks coordinated in time for next week,
So next meeting will be the 5th.
February 5th.
Check. Next is miscellaneous. So next is adjournment to workshop. I asked that we could workshop just for a few minutes, we don't need an excessive amount of time, but just to talk about the apartments and really what we should be concerned with. I think during the meetings when we've been here, I think we've kind of been a little like trying to figure out what we're trying to assess, and so I thought maybe taking a few minutes just to regroup before we get the next presentation would be good. So first, if I could get a motion to adjourn the regular meeting and go into workshop.
I motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? All right.